everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I am so happy to be here. We are live. It is the 17th of October at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. Oh, here we are. I'm looking at my hair, wondering what I was doing. Anyway, I'm sure it's fine. Did you ever have those moments where you go out in public or, in front of camera and look at your hair and go, "Oh, who let me do that?" It's okay. It's probably fine. I want to say that we are over in the chat room. You can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. And you'll see my banner at the top of the page, and you may see other people chatting there. That's a great way to come and say hi, to contribute to the conversation, to ask for a reading. I am also live streaming this event from Facebook and YouTube. That's Katie Weaver, Domestic Mystic on either platform. And if you're commenting there in the comments of either of the live streams, I also do see those. And so I'm just keeping an eye on everything. So no worries at all. Wherever you're commenting, I should be able to interact with you. So thank you guys for being here. And I'm sorry I missed last week. I was momming, as you can imagine. Uh, Mars actually moved back to her old college to be the assistant coach this year. They were in a real pinch for an assistant, and her coach was wildly pregnant. In fact, she's in labor right now, and with no assistant coach. And so Mars is going to do online school and work and live in Montana and help coach that team this year. So it's a fun opportunity, but she needed a little bit of help moving back. So that's what we did. So that's what's going on. So, but either way, I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I don't like missing, but you know how it is. Such is life sometimes. I know. So I'm curious to know how you all are doing. How did you do with the eclipse? Did you see it? That's the big question. Did you see it? Uh, I got a Micah and Matea were home for the weekend, and which was so much fun. We had a ball with them, and Matt and I got up early. I mean, it was okay, but this is Saturday. It started at 9 and got to peak at about 10:30, 10:35. So we were out there watching and staring at the sun through Scott's welding helmet. I really hadn't even thought about getting like viewing glasses. Remember the last big eclipse? There were glasses for sale on every street corner around here, but not this time. And so it was a little bit harder because you couldn't see it. And, without glasses, so you have to have glasses. But we were under cloud cover, and that actually made it really nice. I was really scared we wouldn't be able to see it, but the cloud cover actually made it kind of awesome because it worked as its own filter. So I actually took bare pictures with my cell phone camera that turned out because it was cloudy. So I have to say, I'm probably pretty grateful for that. So I'm going to share some of my pictures with you. But that was really fun. It was fun to be able to see the eclipse. We didn't get the entire ring of fire here, but we got 80% here in Idaho. So not bad. But I'll share a few pictures of ones I took. Did you see the picture that somebody had taken over the pyramids? Holy cow. It was amazing. But I wondered also, not just did you get to see it, but also what was your experience seeing it? Like, not just seeing it, but what was your experience in general? You guys good? What was this week like for you? You hanging in there? You getting one epiphany after another? You ready to punch a kitten? What's it about? Here are my pics. I tried to get my cell phone camera into the welding helmet so I could take pictures through it. But then I discovered I really didn't need it, and it put kind of a weird hue on it, you know? So this was bare sky, but you can see we were actually quite cloudy and just we're lucky enough that just for a little bit the sun managed to peek through. So, and this is all, these pictures are all just pretty well fully eclipsed for what we got. Yeah, but pretty cool. It was a cool experience for sure. Yeah. So there is that. Looking in the comments. Jane said it was overcast there in California. They didn't see it. In Florida, they didn't get to see it. Rude. Practically all of you were too cloudy to see it. That's the worst. Ah, Tiffany missed it. She said she didn't even relate it was happening. Just noticed it got dark for a bit. Darn, so sad I missed it. I I know it kind of snuck up on me too. I noticed something the night before about it, and I went, "Oh my god! Oh yeah, we have a solar eclipse coming. What is going on?" Yeah. Okay. Just looking in the chat rooms real quick. My computer's been acting so super weird. Hey, Quelly, thank you. Denise had a good release late yesterday. Awesome. I don't know what my computer thinks it's doing, but it's been acting so weird. So I'm hoping we'll get through the show just fine. I managed to do a live stream yesterday and it was okay. So, or for true crime. So I'm hoping we'll be all right. But yeah, this computer's been acting like a real bee. Okay, I'm putting a video in the chat room. My other exciting news. You know how excited I get over small things. So when we went to Montana, we went to Lillian said Florida sucks. And she's allowed to say that because she lives there. On our way home from taking Mars, we cut through the corner of Yellowstone Park. We always buy a year pass because one of the routes home is to cut through the corner. It's not a long drive. It's like a 45-minute drive through the one side of the park. Um, and you sometimes see a lot and sometimes you don't. It's just, the luck of the draw, always. That's always how it is in Yellowstone. It's funny. You see reviews sometimes that people leave on Yellowstone's website that, you know, they need to train their animals better so they can be seen because these people went and didn't even see any bears or whatever. I'm like, bro, I've lived here my whole life. I've seen bears in person now, I think 3 times. Like, you don't, if you get to see bears, you did something. And lots of other things. I've never seen a wolf ever. I've never seen a mountain lion. And it's not for lack of trying and not for lack of spending time in the mountains and at Yellowstone and out of doors. I mean, I've seen them in like wildlife parks, but I've never seen them in the wild. So, at any rate, so that makes this story that much more exciting for me. So, we drove through the corner of Yellowstone, like I said, and we saw a lot. We saw we saw a hawk snatch a fish out of the Yellowstone River and fly up to the very top of a tall tree and sit there and tear into it. That was amazing. We saw a moose. We saw, of course, tons and tons of those giant Yellowstone ravens that are so freaking cool. We saw tons of elk. The elk are in rut right now, which essentially means they're in heat. The males are, well, the females are, and the males are competing for their harem. So we saw lots of elk strutting around with their ladies. And elk and rut are something to see. The pride of those bulls is something. And you can almost see the cow elk like, oh, here we go again. But so that's always fun. That's why I like Yellowstone in the fall. I think the elk and rut are actually really fun to see. But anyway, so of course we saw lots of elk. We saw some pronghorns. We saw some deer. And then towards the very end, we didn't see any bison. because this time of year they get up a little bit higher to graze, and a lot of times you don't really see them, which is wild because other times in Yellowstone it's like all you see, a bazillion of them. But I didn't think we'd see any, and we did not. But we went, so we were close to the end, and there was this huge, they call it a bear jam. It's not necessarily bears though. Somebody will jump out to see something, and then other tourists will see them stop. So everybody stops, and sometimes it's like an elk. You're like, why are we stopping for this? Maybe for tourists that haven't seen elks a million times, maybe, right? But but anyhow, there were a lot of people stopped, and I was like, I don't know, Scott, I really want to stop. And we typically don't because Scott is not somebody who will trifle with crowds. So, but he stopped and he's like, I am not getting out, but you are welcome to. So I got out and I walked over to one of the outcroppings where people were gathered. And sure enough, right on the other side of the Yellowstone River was a mama grizzly bear and two cubs. It was amazing. It was amazing. So I put a video in the chat room. I'm going to also pull it up here on my screen so you can see it. So you can see her. That's her hump, that big black, darker spot. Sorry, then I ended up at the river. I was shooting over top of and around a lot of other people. So my camera skills were obviously kind of lacking, but here we go. So, yep, that is mom. See her? She's enormous. And you can see the two cubs moving around. They're kind of more behind the trees, but you can see them back there. That's a big mama. I thought this was the sow that they call the obsidian sow. This was pretty near a place in Yellowstone called Obsidian Cliffs. And I thought it might be her because there is a sow that always has babies that hangs out around Obsidian Cliffs. But when I got home and did a little bit of research and found some pictures of Obsidian sow from this year, she has triplets and she's quite a bit darker. This bear is pretty blonde except for her hump. So it wasn't her. So I'm not sure what bear this was. And not all of the bears are tagged or have like a kind of a colloquialism or a nickname. So it could be that she doesn't. And she's just, Mama Grizz. But so I apologize. My pictures, they're as good as they could be. I mean, we were on the other side of the river, but I thought my phone did a pretty good job of zooming in on her and getting some pretty good shots. It was also really cloudy and overcast and nearing evening, so kind of all those things to finagle through. But how cool is that? My God, I was almost in tears. I was so excited, and but there were some people behind me. This is like a magical moment. It's an incredible moment, right? I have these two fools behind me having an argument about whether or not they could catch her and ride her. Now, they're probably kidding, right? Well, I hope so. I mean, the stuff that we hear out of the stuff that some of the tourists do in Yellowstone would give you pause and make you wonder if that's not actually true. Like, maybe they did think they could catch her and ride her. I don't know. But it was so annoying to me that this was what was going on while I'm having this magical bear moment. These dummies are talking about whether or not they can catch her and ride her. I was hoping somebody else that's braver than me would turn around and say, "Shut up." But they did not. So, anyhow, pretty fun, pretty exciting. So, my sisters were so inspired that we're going back this weekend. Our weather's going to turn soon, and we've had this long, fabulously beautiful fall. We got to take advantage of it, man. Also, I didn't buy that year pass for nothing. Fun fact about the national parks. Maybe you do or don't know this. Did you know that if you have a handicap card in your car, that you qualify for a free pass to all of the national parks? True story. When my dad was my dad was on hospice for a year. And during that time, he did finally end up getting a handicap placard because he had cancer in his leg and walking very far distances was kind of tough on him. And that year, we got, yeah, we went to Yellowstone a whole bunch of times on his on his free pass. But oh gosh. Anyway, pretty fun. Very, very exciting. Lillian said, kind of wish they would, right? Maybe they would just learn a lesson for Christ's sake. Actually, with the bears, this is what really sucks with the bears. If the bears get in a dust up with people, the bears usually get euthanized, whether it was their fault or not. Once a bear has had a dust up with a human, they figure that they are now dangerous, you know, like, dude, of course they're dangerous, for God's sake. That's all. They're grizzly bears. They're dangerous. And in fact, in Montana last month, a guy, a hiker, had a dust up with a grizzly bear and he bit his lower jaw off. Jaw! His whole lower jaw. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. He had he was just released from the hospital. I was just reading an article about him that he was just released from the hospital with his new prosthetic jaw. So the whole bottom half of his mouth removed by a grizzly bear. Can you even? I'm amazed when you see these people that like live with grizzly bears. What? That's going to go south someday. Then again, maybe it's such a cool and magical experience that you don't care. But you should, because what they say is a fed bear is a dead bear. Meaning, if humans start feeding bears, they will eventually be euthanized because bears don't forget. Bears are like my pigs. You feed them once, you're done. They're going to come back every day. And then they're not just going to come back to you, they're going to come back to your neighbors. Or they get into your picnic basket. They're going to get, yeah, okay, fine, your picnic basket, right? They're going to get in everybody's picnic basket. They're going to get in trouble and they are going to be euthanized. It's an ongoing problem in these communities around me that butt right up to the forests. People that feed the bears on purpose because they think it's cool and they love seeing them come to the edges of their property. You're signing their death warrant if you do that. And it's really sad. It shouldn't be done, but people do it. So, anyway, I could go on about the bears and Idaho and our laws and our people for a whole hour, and that would get really damn boring. But anyway, suffice it to say, I finally saw some grizzly bears. I haven't seen bears in a while. I was super excited. We're going back to Yellowstone this weekend, and by God, I'm seeing bears again. Now I really want to see the obsidian bear with those three cubs. Last week in Teton National Forest that butts up to Yellowstone, in my neck of the woods where I was born, in that area, there's a bear that is her tag number is 610, and 610 has two cubs, and she's the daughter of 399, who's the bear called the Queen of the Tetons or Felicia, and 610 is frequently seen in that area with her babies. She's a famous bear. Last week, 610 got hit by a truck in the road. And she drug herself off to the side of the road and she laid motionless, kind of on the side of the road into the borrow pit. And a bunch of the rangers came and surrounded her and protected her. And she laid there for around 6, 8 hours. And then she hopped up and gathered up her cubs and walked away. And she's okay. Holy shit. First of all, that's so upsetting because whoever hit her was likely going way too freaking fast. But the other part of it is, wow, she would have orphaned her cubs. That just would have been horrible. But people watched in horror the entire day. The poor rangers that work in that area, their whole job is to protect the bears and the people from the bears. And it's what they do. And they were so horrified. And the rangers said that they would have stayed there all night if they needed to protect her until morning. Apparently, they were going to keep an eye on her for about 24 hours to see if she was going to survive or not. They will not call out medical because they're wild animals. So there's no calling the vet. It doesn't happen. If she died, she died, which sounds really harsh, but they are wild animals after all. But I loved the commitment from the rangers that they're like, we would have stayed here and protected her all night if that's what it took from people, from carrion, or from other bears. But they didn't have to because she just got her bell rung. And when she was finally ready, she got up. It looks like in pictures, she's got a pretty good gash above one of her eyebrows on her forehead. But other than that, she seems to be okay. So, yeah, thank God for 610, huh? Yeah. Sid said that guy should have a get together with the little alligator who got rehabbed for a missing upper jaw. I saw this guy. They think he had an encounter with a boat propeller. Oh, yeah, and he was rescued and they're feeding him and he's in a preserve now, right? And he's okay. Wild. Yes, Pamela, now you just have to get here. But it's not just Yellowstone, it's all national parks. Pretty cool. Yeah. Yes, Rebecca, you hadn't heard that. Rebecca, sorry for totally waylaying this with wildlife, but Rebecca's she knows this area I'm talking about all too well. Did you hear about the lady outside of Bozeman that got attacked? Ladies, actually, they were floating down the river right outside of Bozeman, and they were attacked by an otter that nearly killed them. I mean, he beat the shit out of them. He put them in the hospital. One lady, particularly, had hundreds of bites over her body, mostly head and neck and face. Yeah. To hear her story is terrifying. I love otters. I would do anything for an otter. Uh, not as a pet, but just, like otters are super, super special to my heart. And that was terrifying. I didn't know otters could be mean like that, but holy shit. He stalked them. They were like trapped in the middle of the river no, they didn't see any babies. They were trapped on a rock in the middle of the river, just waiting for help to arrive. And he stalked them and came back repeatedly and attacked again. And they had no defenses. And they didn't dare get off the rock because if they tried to swim, they were afraid that he would literally drag them under the water and kill them. It's the craziest story I have ever heard. I had no idea an otter would do that. Yeah. Lillian said otters are vicious. People get attacked down here too. I got a little close and they hissed at me. I backed off very slowly. Wow. I had no idea otters could be mean like that. Have you ever seen the videos of the zoo? There's a couple of zoos that have in their otter viewing centers, they have little holes in the plexiglass that the otters stick their little hands through and you can hold their hands. What? My God. I would hold an otter's hand all day. You wouldn't be able to get me out of there. But apparently they can also kick your ass soundly. So now you know. Now you know. Okay. Let's hop into the chat room here. Yeah, what makes an otter attack? They have no idea. No idea. They have no idea why he got that upset. Uh, from their accounts, the wildlife manager said it sounded like it was a male from his build. They didn't believe that he had like rabies or anything like that. They really don't know. Yeah. Quelly said I was always told not to watch the eclipse. Can you expand on that notion? I've heard that before too. I think that there's a couple of different schools of thought there. There used to be, like, used to be meaning probably a few hundred years ago, or maybe less, some superstition around eclipses that they were dark or dangerous, that they were opening up bad things. Other people, I think that there has been a belief that if you watch the eclipse, that you are going to open up a dark period in your life. I've heard a few things around those lines, Quelly, too. I don't know. It doesn't resonate with me at all. I think eclipses are incredibly cool, and that we should enjoy them. Yeah. But it's interesting, huh? There's a lot of superstitions. Have you ever heard that you're not allowed to buy your own tarot deck? When we had our store, we would have people come in all the time and look at like tarot and oracle cards and stuff and be like, "Oh, I really want this one. I wish I could buy it, but you know." And I'm always like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You can buy your own tarot deck. Yes, you can have what you want. What is this? It kills me in New Age thought that we keep assigning all of these mythologies. Like, what are we? Organized religion? Stop it. Right? There's a bunch of them. But anyway, it cracks me up. Interesting. Oh, Sid said a lot of that comes from the Hindu religion. It's taken seriously in India. You're not even supposed to eat or sleep. Yikes. Interesting. Wasn't there an old movie, Oki the Otter? I have no idea. I don't know about sea otters. I read an article last week about a dead sea lion that was found with 7 whole sea otters in her stomach. 7! 7. The last one actually choked her to death. What was she doing? I think she got into somebody's gummies. That's what I think. But, like, what in the world? Jessica said she's heard that about tarot decks. Yeah, that's a thing. And some people take that super seriously. But I'm also not the guy that's too worried about doing business during a, a retrograde either. I think you just be super careful about making sure you understand the terms of your deals or of your plans, and you just go for it. You just use it as a caution. So, yeah. Yeah, Pamela, I've heard that you should be gifted a deck, but not buy your own. Yeah, interesting. We used to sometimes have a trading table where people could come and put a deck out that they were done with, and someone else could receive it. Not really because of that, but just because, everybody's bought a deck that they got home and didn't resonate with, and somebody else did. So I always thought the trading table was just fun because we all have decks that are sitting that nobody's interested in, you know? That'd be kind of fun. Would it be fun? Tell me if this is dumb or if it would be fun. Or if you guys even have a deck that you would part with, but uh, that it might be fun to organize that amongst all of us, right? Like over the holidays or something, or maybe in January. Let's say January because we're all busy over the holidays, but that we could all like sign up here in the chat room or something. This might get complicated, but it might be kind of fun that we do like a virtual trading blanket, right? So everyone who has a deck that they would like to trade, you don't have to tell us what it is, but you would just like put your name out, and I'd put you all on a list, and then randomly draw and assign you the person that you're swapping decks with, and you'd send someone a deck, and somebody else would send you a deck. Is that too hard? Maybe it's too hard. I don't know. Tell me if that's of interest to you at all. If it is, we'll put it in our back pocket for after the holidays. That might be fun. If we love it and it works, then maybe we do it like every 6 months where we do a little, you know, maybe it's not a deck, maybe it's a crystal, maybe it's a book. Don't be sending me the Bible. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And send me whatever you want. Oh God, I'm in a mood. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but poor Scott. He's really in for it today, I think. I've been trying to find a kiln. I really want to buy a kiln, a pottery kiln or a glass kiln. and for a project, not a project, for about a bunch of projects I want to learn how to do. And so I threw it out on my Facebook page because I've been looking at used kilns for a hot minute. And somebody spoke up that lives in my same town who has a kiln to sell. So I don't know if it's going to work out. I've been talking to her this morning, but that's kind of amazing. So I'm going to buy a kiln. And if I do, I'll tell you all about it. So fun. Yeah. Marine animals are just under more and more pressure all the time, Sid. It's absolutely true. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's take a quick look at Luminous. I'm going to put links in the chat room. We had a fair. I've had two fairs since I was here last, actually, that went super well. My gosh. We were giving samples of honey. People were buying honey hand over fist. I am totally sold out again of one flavor and real close on a couple others. So we have to replenish honey this week as well. And an Indian restaurant across the street from the venue that we were at last weekend. The owner came and visited with us. He bought three different kinds. He sampled all of them, and he owns two Indian grocery stores. And he wanted to know if we would be interested in wholesaling honey to him to sell in his stores. So I don't know if that'll work out or not, but that's pretty cool. That damn honey is blown into quite the project. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. So, obviously, and you might have already received Luminous earlier today, but yeah, I went with bears. I had to. I've got bears on the brain. Bears, bears. Okay. I called this week's magazine the Ancestors Calling edition because it's here, right? We are so close to the 31st. We are so close to the Day of the Dead. We are so close to that. We really are here where the veil is so thin. And I had a mediumship session over the weekend with the sweetest girl who has had so much loss in her life and needed to hear from several people. And we had a really long, powerful session. And it was just making me think about how cool this time of year is for mediumship and all of that stuff. Oh, Sherry, you are so welcome. Did you love the softball? I thought it turned out really cute. Scott did 100% of that. He really is the softball maker. My hands aren't. They're very unwilling, but I can't lace the softballs. I've tried, and oh my god, I'm not strong. I am not a strong girl. But I'm so happy it got there, and thank you so much. Okay. Anyway, ancestors calling. It's time. Time to build an ancestor altar. Time to honor your ancestors, to start thinking about them if you're not already. I always really challenge people around this time of year to take a look at your genealogy. Take a look as far back as you can. There are some pretty cool online resources for looking at your family history, you know. Now, obviously, my Mormon roots definitely help me here because my family's genealogy goes back many generations. On my mom's side, my mom's dad's side of our family, the Byington side, their genealogy has been done all the way back to 1200. Isn't that wild? But Mormons love family history, um, because they want to baptize all of them. But it makes it kind of cool because you can track back a lot of their stories. And anyway, so go to familysearch.org and search for your family and see what you can find there, because it's really interesting to start seeing some of your relatives, not just seeing them, but putting them into perspective. I really like to go back into my ancestry and find relatives that I can resonate with for whatever reason and really connect with them. Think about their whole real story and what they went through. It's really easy to just be like, oh, yeah, this is, Clarissa, and she lived in 1700 and she died when she was 34 and she had 5 kids and they all died of typhoid or whatever. And it's just a story. But it's a very different experience to put yourself in her shoes and think about what her life was truly like. Where did she sleep? What did she wear? What did she cook? What did she eat? Did she have friends? What was her religion or spirituality like? What were her feelings? What was life like for her? I think there's a lot we can learn from our ancestors. Sometimes it's cautionary tales, but I think so often it's just connecting with them as real people that had real lives, that had real struggles and real advancements, and real experiences. And to me, that's an important way to connect with our ancestors and put ourselves in their shoes and learn from them in any way that we can. I don't think that any of their lives should be for naught. Not that they are really, but just in really understanding their stories, it means a lot. I was reading recently about a set of triplets that were born in my family at the turn of the 1900s. And of course, remember, these are Mormon families and they practice polygamy. And at one point, two of the triplets they both had the same husband. They were sister wives and sisters and had the same husband. And between the two of them, they had like 17 kids. It was crazy. I don't know if all the kids were theirs. There was another wife that had died, so I think some of the kids might have been hers, but they raised all of those kids together. Isn't that wild? Anyway, I just think it's very interesting stuff. But you can probably find quite a bit at familysearch.org about your own families. Okay. Obviously, my musings were about, you know what, grizzly bears. I know, it's a really big super surprise. The same video I showed you is here in Luminous, and then an article about grizzly bears and what they mean in the spiritual sense. Obviously, they're seen as guardians and protectors, symbols of transformation because of their hibernation period, a connection to the earth as spirit guides in some traditions, lots and lots of tribal legends and stories about grizzly bears. Some of them about people transforming into grizzly bears that are really interesting. Obviously, as totem animals in Native American history, grizzly bears have been used in rituals and ceremonies, again, as people dressing up as grizzly bears, wearing a grizzly bear hide to act out a role as a grizzly bear and things like that. But anyway, you're very tired of talking about grizzly bears. And I never will be. All right. Kelly brings us bitch for the week of October 16th, practicing bitchcraft. She said that there's a lot of energy around perseverance, rebellion, rising up from oppression, and dedication to the mission this week. Well, not surprising considering what's going on in the world right now. Um, our per normal, it really sucks to be an empath on this planet currently because more war, more suffering, more people going through a lot. It sucks a lot. Grizz said, or Grizz. Trish said she never tires of talking about grizzlies. Well, okay, my grizzly sister. Have I ever done a Halloween spell show? I'd love to learn how to put a spell on George. Like, fall in love with me already. No, but why don't you do a spell jar? Do you remember? I've taught you how to do them before, Liliane, but you might not have put it in that context. But maybe like next week? Fine. Okay. Next week, let's do spell jars. I'll put together some examples of a few different ones. We've done spell jars before, but we always do an abundance one. So we'll do a love one. Uh I am going to be on our special though. Did you know on the 30th, so Monday the 30th, we do have a big Halloween special coming. Kelly has organized it. She has worked her absolute fanny off on this, and she's got a whole bunch of really fun shows planned. And I'm going to be on a show with Kelly and Chris Ann, which makes me so happy because they are two of my favorite humans in the world. And Aaron, who is also one of my favorite people. We are going to have a ball. I am going to be a historical witch. I believe my name will be Goody Weaver. And we are going to have a talk show. And it's going to be fun as hell. But there's a bunch of fun stuff planned. So be sure that you clear your schedule on the 30th if you haven't. We are really going to have fun with that. So that'll be on the 30th, which is Monday. For the bulk of the day, it looks to me like we've got, I don't want to conjecture too hard, but I think around 5 shows. So a lot of cool stuff happening. This is up right up Kelly's alley. She is so good at this stuff. So huge props to her for organizing it and taking on doing it and the vision of it. It's a lot of work. Yeah, the 30th on 1 2 radio. Yes. Yeah. Be there or be square or turn into a pumpkin at midnight or something. All righty. Obviously, it's the time of year to build an ancestor altar. An altar is just a spot. It could be on a shelf or on top of a dresser or on your kitchen table or your desk, just some flat spot, some spot. If you have cats that destroy everything, maybe it's a protected spot. Maybe it's in a cupboard for that matter, but you just need a spot where you can set up a sacred place of remembrance. You can put candles, special items, books, photos, crystals, effigies, anything that honors the memory of your ancestors or your loved ones. You can do that to honor them. You don't have to leave it up forever, but put a little altar together. And then every time you walk past it, it just reminds you to take a peek, you know? Yeah, pretty cool. Oh, Kelly said there's 6 hours of radio for 10:30. My gosh, you guys, it's going to be such a fun day. I'm peeking at the schedule and going, my God. Kelly, you have outdone yourself. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. Plus, when me, Kelly, Chrisanne, and Aaron get together for a show, that's going to be great. Yes. Oh, Tiffany said the spell jar episode I did last year didn't get archived, didn't get put online because it was a special. Ah, well, then by God, we're doing it next week. It'll be all spell jars all the time. Spell jars are fun, you guys, and they're super easy. And anyone can do them, and they're great. Okay. All right. Christy's energy exercise is Archangel Raphael healing. I mean, there's lots of stuff going on at True Crime because, that's how it be. I'll just tell you one quick story that happened at the villages in Florida. This might be hard to listen to. Uh, you might need a stiff drink. But there was a man, 77 years old, arrested for peddling black market Viagra. I don't think he was a hardened criminal, but there will be some stiff fines. I know. I think I'm so damn funny. Oh no. Kelly is currently stuck in the Dallas airport with an endlessly delayed flight. Please send good travel vibes. On the way. We don't put up with this for our bitch whisperer. What is going on? Do you know who she is? That's what you got to tell him, Kel. Do you know who I am? Maybe don't. People don't like that. Okay. Anita brings us Archangel Uriel. Jamie didn't have a brand new episode. It looks like she just became a grandma, which is pretty damn exciting. Can you imagine having Jamie as your grandma? Good Lord. Amazing. But she and her daughter Tatiana have been doing these really cool episodes together. So I put one of those up instead for her. But anyway, so do watch that. It's about people pleasing. But and lots of love to Jamie and her family. Very cool. All right, so that is Luminous. Okay. Whew. My computer tried to do that stunt again, and I was getting scared, but I think we're okay. Yeah, that story about the villages killed me. That's what they're selling around there, apparently. There was a rumor for a while that the villages was absolutely teeming with STDs. I actually read an article last week that said that's really not true. Uh, they don't have any more STDs or less there than any other place per capita. But yeah. Kelly said another lady just tried that. Do you know who I am thing? Anyone who does it, I'm going to guess Marjorie Taylor Greene just for fun, loudly and in their face. And did you guys see that Suzanne Summers died of breast cancer? Rude. We're done with that shit. We hate it. Yeah. Okay. Just jumping into the chats really fast. Lillian said, good guess. Yeah, but sad about Suzanne Summers. My kids were like, who the hell is Suzanne Summers? I have not raised them right, obviously, but what can you do? So I'm curious. I'm going to poll the audience. Hey, Laurie, what is your favorite Halloween movie? Are you a scary movie watcher? Are you a non scary movie watcher? Do you watch Halloween movies? I just want to hear it all. I discovered, while Mars was still home, that she had never seen Practical Magic. Again, what kind of parent am I? We watched it. She loved it. Of course she did. Also, if you've not seen Practical Magic, you really, really need to. So there's that. But I'm always curious to know this time of year it becomes such a hot topic. And I know some people are like way big on the like horror movie scene. I am not. I'm a big chicken. I don't watch horror movies at all, ever, for any reason. A couple of years ago, Netflix, probably more than a couple of years ago, but Netflix released this limited series called The Haunting of the Hill House or something along those lines. My God, it ruined my life. I was so scared. It was so scary. Don't watch that. Don't ever watch that. Um, or do, I guess, but I'm telling you, it's terrifying and you probably shouldn't watch it. Practical Magic is the best. Oh, Lillian said Frankenstein. Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting. It is the season. And I realized all I've been watching are YouTube tutorials for a new skill I want to learn. And which isn't the worst thing either. But now I now here I am needing to watch them. Sherry said she also does not do horror. Loves watching shows with mediums talking to ghosts. Ooh, me too. Jessica said my favorites are Practical Magic and Hocus Pocus. Non scary for me. Sid said 100% non scary. Arsenic and Old Lace. Oh, not really Halloween, but super funny. Murder themed old movie with two old ladies. I don't think I have ever sat through Arsenic and Old Lace. I should look it up. I really should. I loved Hocus Pocus too and Practical Magic. Oh, there's a series, and now I can't remember what it's called that I've been watching around Halloween time too the last few years about witches. Oh, The Witches of East End. I think it's called The Witches of East End. It's a series, but holy cow, that is good and sometimes shocking, but I loved it. It is The Witches of East End. Lillian said, love Stephen King, but can't watch any of the movies, just the books. Did you see that he just had a hip replaced? Poor Stephen. I hope he's doing okay. Yeah. Oh, I can't watch the movies. My God. I saw it when I was a kid because I don't know why. And it also ruined my life. When I was a kid, this will kill you, but the movie The Watcher in the Woods scared the bejesus out of me. I've never recovered. Yep. Oh, Lillian said he's going to be a month later to get down back to Florida because of it. Yeah. However, they say that getting your hip done is a walk in the park compared to getting a knee done. So people getting my sister that's a PTA, she does a lot of home health with people having hips and knees, and she says that the way they have hips now with the robot surgeries, the way they have them lined up, she's like they are so precise and amazing that they're not really a thing any. I mean, they're a thing, but they're not. The recovery from them is not too big of a deal. So good news. Kelly can't do Stephen King stuff either. Whew, I'm too big of a chicken. Yeah. Sid said, I saw it the first time in school during English class. Such a funny movie with Cary Grant and Jane Darwell, who was the Feed the Birds lady in Mary Poppins. Oh, okay. Oh, Sherry said the Dark Crystal with the puppets scared her when she was young. I too was very scared. Yep, of the Dark Crystal. Yep. Oh, or Clive Barker. Yeah, no, for sure, no. There's I usually just shy away from stuff like that entirely. I just cannot. But occasionally I use poor judgment and watch something like that and then really, really regret it. But I don't wanna. I like all the Halloween towns, as you know. I love both Twitches. Have you ever watched Twitches? Okay, it's just a corny, silly Disney Halloween movie. There's two of them, Twitches 1 and Twitches 2. Mars and I watch those every year religiously. We love them. I want to see the new Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion 1, I thought is great fun. I really want to see the new one, but it hasn't made it to streaming yet, and I'm probably not going to go to a movie theater. So, you know why I don't like to watch movies at the movie theater? Because then I can't sit in my recliner with four dogs laying on top of me eating all my popcorn. So, why would I want to do that? Oh, Trish said it's fun. I got it. Hopefully, it'll get to streaming soon. I really want to see it. Yeah. No, Jane, we did not. I am baffled and worried. Yeah. She's asking about a listener from our true crime community and the Psychic Hour. So, Psychic Hour listeners, I do a show on Thursday nights at 7 with Christy. That's the Psychic Hour. And I just stream it through my Facebook page and my YouTube. We missed the show last week and oh, you streamed it Sunday? Oh my God, I'm watching it today. Um, we're going to miss again this week. I just wanted you guys to know that. It is our nephew Jack's last week of football. Yeah, what happened is that Jack got hurt. He's a junior. He got hurt. This is Kara's son. He got hurt a week before the season started. And this boy, he was going to play half on JV and half on varsity. He was so excited. He has worked so hard and ended up suffering an ankle injury that took him completely out until 2 weeks ago. So he was only back for 3 games of his whole season. And I can't miss him because it's over now, after this week. So I do want you to know that we will not be doing the psychic hour this week, but after this week, we should pretty much be back to business, unless there's a state game. There will be some state games, but I don't know if they'll be that night because his team is ranked number 2 in the state, the varsity team, and he'll be moving up to that when JV's over. But anyway, in the interest of being a good aunt and a supportive aunt, we have to go watch football. So, no psychic hour this week, but we'll be back next week for sure. Okay, guys, we have done it. We've talked down to the end of this show. I am a professional psychic advisor over at 12listen.com. That's number 1, number 2, listen.com. You can find me there every single day. Every day. If you head over there and you need to talk to me and I'm not there, just do a callback request or a scheduled call and I'll get right back to you. If I'm not there, I'm probably in the mountains and out of service. But that's how to do it. If you want to come and talk to me, and I can help you with a psychic reading, mediumship, animal communication, energy work. If you need it, I'll do my best for you. So thanks so much for being here, you guys. This has been the Katie Weaver Show here on 12 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.